Hello, 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 people, and welcome to my 15K views on YouTube, not on Twitch, stream. Today I'm going to be channeling Dave Ross, the famous painter, about to be famous painter. We're going to have a little fun. We're going to build our own little world. Since I can't do oil paints and liquid paints, we're going to do Photoshop. But we're still going to have a nice little world where we can be the creator and we can make whatever we want to, and we can do whatever we want to do, because this is our world. So, I'm going to go run the colors across the bottom of the screen that you're going to need on your palette. And I'm just going to start painting. I'm going to take some titanium white and mix it in with a bit of phthalo blue. I'm going to go into the bright phthalo blue. It's a very bright color. Very, very bright color. We're just gonna put the little indication. Oh, I need it bigger than that. Fuck. We're gonna put the little indication of a sky. Just a sky. Just a little sky. Now, make sure you leave the white area in there. You need that white in the sky so that you know where your light is gonna be. Now I'm gonna put some tape across so we can have that nice little clear horizon. And I'm gonna do the same thing with the bottom, but in a darker color. More of the phthalo blue. More of that phthalo blue. Just gonna very, very gently go across with the brush. Light tap. Light tap with the brush. Now, how about we make some happy little clouds? Is anyone interested in some happy little clouds? I want one for happy little cloud, two for happy little mountain. Actually, screw it. The mountains come after the happy little clouds. We're going to do the clouds first. This is our world. We can do whatever we want in our world. I don't like that light there, but you know what? We don't make mistakes. We just have happy accidents. We're going to go. We're going to get our little 2-inch brush. Where's the... God damn it. Where's the 2-inch brush? Going to get our little 2-inch brush. We're going to grab some titanium white. Mix it in with the least little touch of phthalo blue. Least little touch. We're going to start putting in some clouds. Now maybe in my world, maybe there's a cloud. Oh, there it is. Right there. Maybe there's a cloud there. Maybe there's a cloud there. Now think about shapes when you're making your cloud. Maybe there's one right there. Maybe there's a big old cloud right here. Oh, there he is. There he is. Big old cloud. Every cloud needs a friend. Needs a friend. Now you're going to take another brush. You're going to go back to that little brush. You're just going to fluff it. Just fluff it. Just fluff. Little touch. Fluff. Just a least little touch and fluff. And keep fluffing that cloud. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, you've really done it now, Dave Ross. You've really done it now. Well, maybe you're right. Maybe I have. Maybe I have. That fluffing doesn't look quite as fluffy as I want it to fluff. That's a sad little cloud, but you know, sometimes you gotta have the sad little clouds. So you know when you see a happy little cloud. It kind of balances each other out. Maybe in my world. Maybe in my world. Clouds don't have as much flow. Maybe there's a cloud right there. Right there. Maybe there's a cloud right there. This is a thin little cloud. You gotta have fat clouds. Clouds are like people. They come in all shapes and sizes. A fat little cloud and a thin little cloud. Maybe... Well, this is your bravery test right here. I have another cloud right here. That's a big old cloud. And we're gonna fluff. Remember to fluff upwards. Start fluffing in other directions. Probably not gonna work out for you. But hey, it's your world. You can do whatever you want to do. Whatever you want to do. Fluff it. Maybe we'll go back and we'll fluff these clouds. They don't look fluffy enough. Ah, now we have some happy little clouds. So, we've got some fluffy, happy little clouds. I think it's about time we drew a happy little mountain in the background. Maybe in my world. Maybe in my world there is a mountain. So we're gonna take some Van Dyke Brown, maybe some Phthalo Blue, maybe toss in a bit of Alizarin Crimson, and some black as well. Get a really dark color. Really dark color. And you're gonna have to make some big decisions here. Where is this gonna sit? I think it's gonna sit... Oh, there. There it is. Right there. Get right in close to the canvas. Get right in close. Just start sketching out the top of your mountain. We don't care about this right now. We just want that very, very top shape. Oh, there it is. Maybe there's another mountain right here. Yep. Yep. Right there. And another one. Right there. Yep. And maybe there's another one right there. Yep. And just keep going with your mountain. It's your world. You can decide where you want your mountain to be. Right there. Maybe that mountain doesn't run that long. Maybe the mountain stops about here. Maybe it stops right there. Take a brush. We start thinking about the shape and the flow of our mountain. We're going to flow down like this. Just start pushing all that paint. Don't worry about your happy clouds. Don't worry about them. They'll be fine. They're just in the background anyway. Get some of that white color in there too. It has a nice little texture when you're pulling down. Looks like there's almost snow mixed in there. Keep pulling the mountain down. Keep pulling it down. There's all that paint there. Just keep spreading it out. You know, when I was a classical painter, ooh, I used to stress out about mountains all the time. With this technique, it's easy. Anyone can do it. Anyone can do it. Including you. You can do anything. Just keep spreading it right down. Don't worry about our waterline. That's just there for reference. Don't worry about that. You can really see all the different colors mixing in here. Got some sap green in there. Some phthalo blue, alizarin crimson right there. Keep pulling your mountain down. Keep pulling it down. You really want to get that flow. What does the mountain flow like? Start getting that nice dark color right to the edges of the mountain. Right to the edges of the mountain. I know you're thinking right now, this does not look very good, but wait. We'll fix it. We will fix it. Okay. So we got to think where on our mountain. Yeah, saved? Yeah. Where on our mountain is the highlights? There's one side of the mountains that's in the light. We got to think about that. And where's the low light or the shadow on our mountain? I'll grab some alizarin crimson, maybe some Van Dyke brown, a little bit of titanium white. We're going to have a dirty mountain. We're going to have a dirty mountain today. Grab our brush. Maybe we'll use the knife for this. Maybe we will use the knife. Maybe our mountain. Maybe it's right here. Right here. Yep. Where is the highlights on your mountain? Could be wherever you want them to be. Wherever you want them to be. Maybe it's right there. I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking. Thinking this is a disaster. Well, maybe. Maybe it is. Just gonna take those highlights and start pulling them down. Pulling them down. You can really see the alizarin crimson starting to come out. Gonna keep pulling them down. Make sure you have a flow when you make your mountains. Make sure you don't grab the sky either when you're making your mountains. Keep pulling. Pull that color. Just draw it right out. Draw it right out. See, we already have a shadow right here. We have a shadow. I think we got some more. Yep, we got some more highlights right here. So let's pull. Keep pulling this color down. Keep pulling it down. We got a bit of the sky there. Put that titanium white in there, and that's a really strong color. It adds to the texture of the mountain. Maybe this mountain's got a lot of iron in it. Maybe that's why it's so red. Maybe we should pull over some more of that brown. Mix that right in. pulling down. You need that nice texture in your mountain. Get different levels, layers. Keep pulling down. This one kind of looks like an ice cream cone over here with a bunch of different flavors on it. Kind of want to smooth that out a bit. Just a bit. Maybe what we'll do, just kind of mix that up a bit. And then we'll keep pulling it down. Yep. So now we got to think about our shadows. We have our bright areas here, but what do we do for our shadows? I think I'm going to add a bit more black, maybe some Van Dyke brown into those shadows. And we're going to start having the indications, just the indications on the backside. Just the indications. Let me pull some of that dark color over so it looks like it's falling down the slope. Just falling down the slope. Pull it up. Gonna have different strokes for the front side, the highlighted side, and the back side, which is the side in shadow. So the side in shadow is falling this way, and the front side is falling that way. Here we go. Grab some of that dark color and bring it right down. Bring it right down. That is a nice color. Maybe I want to pull this down a bit so that I get more form in that. Get a bit more definitive form of where that ridge line is right there. Maybe I want to do that. Grabbed a bit of the sky again. Maybe I want, there we go. Just so we can see where one slope of that mountain ends and the other one begins. There we go. Oh, we're starting to have some mountains here. Starting to have some dusty old mountains here. Maybe I want to pull this down a bit. We get some of that color in there and then just pull it down to complete that slope. Right here. There we go. We're picking up some of that phthalo blue in there. Really picking up some of that phthalo blue. We're just pull down the color. And we can already see right here. You see right here? Got a nice little ridge line in the mountain. We got another ridge line coming right down here in that mountain. We have some shadows over here we need to expand. Maybe we'll just put a bit at the top there and then we'll draw it out. Just keep drawing it out. Keep drawing that out. We don't want any solid colors anywhere. We want it all to blend together. All to blend together. You can see the ridgeline starting to form right there. And that looks like this is part of the highlighted portion of the mountain. I'm just going to pull that down, extend it outward. Just keep extending it outward. It's a nice little ridge in the background there. Nice little ridge in the background. Midnight black, that's the color. I kept forgetting the actual name of the black color, just calling it black. Yeah. All proceeds go to the Broken Wine Glass Foundation. Support local PBS stations near you. Alright, so we got one last area over here, and I'm thinking damn, I'm thinking we need some more of that alizarin crimson, but a bit darker, because it's in the background. A bit darker. Maybe on this mountain, maybe it comes down here. It's a bit spotty, because we want that color to really mix as it comes down the mountain. I want it to really mix. So, you can really see that red color as it comes down. Grab the sky again. We keep grabbing the sky. Gotta stop doing that. Really, really mixing as it comes down. You can see the red in the mountain. Maybe we'll join it up a little bit here. I don't know. It's your world. You can decide. Maybe we have a little bit of our shadow color. Once again, our shadow color, a bit more gray. And we get a least little bit of that color. Least little bit. We just keep pulling it down. You can see that nice ridge line, faintly. Doesn't have to be too detailed. This is going to be in the background. This is going to be in the background. Still have a nice little ridge line there in the background that we can see. This gives a nice definitive looking mountain in the background. So I'm just going to extend this out. It's a bit fuzzy around the edges, so we just got to sharpen up the edges a bit. There we go. I think we have a nice little, I think we've got a good mountain. I think we have a good mountain here. Now what we want to do, once we have the mountain, we want to grab our brush. Grab our brush here. We're gonna have a soft brush. Real soft brush. And we're just gonna tap it. Just tap. Just tap it. And what this does, it's the illusion of distance. The illusion of distance. And then we're gonna take another brush. Just a little brush. Just a little brush I can't find. Just a little brush. And we're very, very gently fluff it upwards. That has that wonderful misting effect. That creates distance in the painting. Just gonna mist it just a bit. You can't really see it right now, but afterwards, it really puts it farther back in the image. So we don't have to worry about this mountain reflecting, because it's so far back. It's a big old mountain. It's so far back we don't have to worry about it reflecting into our nice water here. Gonna zoom out a bit. Got really close for that mountain. We could see the nice shapes and forms. The ridge line right here. There's another one, little one right there. Another ridge line with the shadows. Got a really nice red mountain here. So, now, I think in our world, there's a foothill. I think there's a foothill. We're gonna make it dark. I'm gonna make it dark because it's back. It's in the background. I'm gonna make it nice and dark. Grab a round brush. Oh, I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking. You've really done it this time. Maybe I have. Maybe I have. Maybe I have. For that foothill, I'm gonna draw it out. It's the first step. We're gonna draw it out. Take a brush. We're gonna take all that paint that we just put on there and bring it down. We're gonna bring that right down. Right down. And it would just push that mountain right into the background. Push it right into the background. Right into the background of our painting. Mm-hmm. I know you can't see it now, but there's a foothill here. Maybe this is more of a desert climate. Maybe this is more of a desert climate. We got our foothills there. Now, just make the indications, just the indications of some trees. And how we're gonna do that, just gonna gently pull up. Gonna pull up with our brush. Maybe not that much. Pull up so that we don't have just a rounded top foothill. This is why we did the misting before. Why we kind of faded out our mountain in the background. That we could have a foothill like this in front of our mountain. Just a little foothill in front of the mountain. Maybe with some brown, dead old trees on it. Dark, dark brown, dead trees. Right in front of the mountain. Maybe that's why it's so dark. They lived a good life, but now they're all dead. Dead old trees in the background. See how much that pushes that mountain back into the distance? You can't even see the shape of the trees that we're making. That tells you how big that mountain is. Now. We're gonna have to make some big decisions here. We're gonna have to make some big decisions. And I think we're gonna miss this. I think we're gonna miss it again. I think we want another layer here. Basically, we're just mixing up the colors a bit, diluting it down here. We can add another layer. Just add another layer. I think in this new layer, I think we're gonna add maybe some sap green into this new layer. We'll get the greenery up here now. Get the greenery in this new layer. I'm gonna do basically the same thing did for the previous layer. Think about shape and form as you're doing this. Think about shape and form. How does the hills, how do they form and how do they look in your mind's eye? I think this hill, I think it comes across like that. I think that's what happens. What we're gonna do is we're just gonna gently pull up and make the indications of some trees. Indications of some trees in the background. Like I said, doesn't have to be pretty right now. Doesn't have to be pretty. Doesn't have to be pretty. Just the background that we're working on right now. Just the background. Just fluff it upwards. Get the little shapes. Some shapes of some trees in the background. Doesn't have to look amazing. Not worried about that yet. Worry about that in a minute here. We'll worry about that in a minute. And we're just gonna grab our 2-inch brush and just pull down on this sap green here. Just pull down. Just pull down on this sap green. Just on the sap green. Create depth. Now when you're close up like this, doesn't look like much, but this is going to be in the background. This will be in the background. That will be in the background. So, now that we have our background, I think there's another layer here. I think that there might be some trees here. I think there might be some trees. I think we're going to have to go into a little bit of the sap green to show our trees. So maybe there's a bunch of evergreens that live here. And maybe I screwed up by making that too green. That sap green in the background there. Maybe I screwed up. Maybe I did. We'll see. We'll see. So put the indications of some trees in the background. Maybe there's a big tree right here. We don't care about him. He's in the background now. Maybe there's a big old tree right here. Yep. Big old tree in the background. Maybe we'll take a hike over there one day. Go see what he's up to. Now you can see this is why we didn't pay much attention to our background layers. They're just in there for depth. They are just in there for depth. We got a bunch of big old trees here. Look at this guy. Whew. There's a big old tree. Let's put indications of some trees. And as they get farther away, I've already decided, as they get farther away, they get smaller. They get smaller as they get far. Ooh, look at that tree. Wow. It's a big tree. I don't want too many gaps between the trees here. We still want to be able to see our background. I want to be able to see those layers behind. Add some trees. Whew! There's a lot of trees. I'm going to do something with those trees. What are we going to do with those trees? What are we going to do with those trees? Prussian blue. Well, we have the phthalo blue. We're doing the phthalo blue. That's what we're doing. Doing the phthalo blue. We might get some Prussian blue. A bit here though. Might get some Prussian blue. Okay, so you know me. I need some water. I need some water. I think right here is where we're gonna have some water. Trick to water. Take a brush, nice clean brush. Tap and pull straight down. Pull straight down. Maybe we made a mistake. Maybe we made a mistake. Maybe we need to maybe we need to get rid of that. Maybe that's what we need to do. Maybe that's what we need to do. Maybe that's what we need to do. There's a lot of area without trees too. That's a thing. Maybe that's what we need to do. The reflection. Maybe there's a bit less of a reflection than we thought. And maybe the back of our canvas is white. Maybe that's what happens. It's white. It's nice and white. Get some Prussian blue. Some Prussian blue. Too much Prussian blue. Little too much Prussian blue. Maybe we'll save that. Save that for a little bit in the future. And we'll go back and we'll just finish our tree line here. We're just tapping in. Just gonna tap in some trees. I think the hill dips there. I think these trees are gonna get smaller here. I think it comes back. It comes back in. Maybe we have a bunch of trees here. Maybe we have a bunch of trees right here. Just a bunch of big old trees. Just a tree line right here. Maybe up on this hill. Well, got some trees. And they just get lighter. Farther back they go. Just get lighter. Farther back they go. Maybe we don't have any trees there. Maybe we don't have any trees. Okay, now we're gonna make some water here. Now that we know what's going on with our painting, we're gonna make some water. And we're gonna do that grabbing and pulling down. Grab. It's important that you pull down straight. It's gotta be straight. It's not straight. You know, the sap green, really not liking the sap green right now. I think that was a bad decision, but you know what? We don't make mistakes, just have happy accidents. Maybe instead of the sap green, we got a nice little bush area here. We have a nice little bush area. In our bushes, in our world, we have brown bush. We have a brown bush area here. Maybe nice brown, dark bush area. Maybe we don't have a nice dark brown bush area. I know what I'm doing. I'm pulling too hard on the brush. I'm pulling too hard on the brush. Just pull down. Keep pulling down. Can create that illusion of water. And then we take it and we go straight across, just across, just across, just right across. You get nice little water. You go straight across once you've pulled down. We're going to smooth out the rest of the water as well. And we're probably going to put something in front here. Probably need to put something in front. Did not mean to do that. Did not mean to do that. Keep missing half the painting too. I'm gonna go across again. Right across. With that nice dry clean brush. Right across. Now it's important that you go straight. Otherwise your water is gonna start flowing out of the canvas. That's no good. Get your studio all wet. Get your studio all wet. Now the final piece of this, we're going to take a nice bit of the titanium white. Bit of the titanium white. Maybe a little bit of Prussian blue, but not much. Not much. Just gonna not gonna do that. Just gonna draw the indication of a water line. Indication of a water line. Just a little indication. Nice little water line. Really push this. Push it into the canvas. Push it into the canvas. Try and cut the canvas. You're pushing so hard. Try and cut it. This nice little water line tells us where the water is sitting. Where the water's sitting. Lets us know what the water's doing in the background, but it's still pretty far back there. Pretty far back there. And stupid. And stupid. Something that you really need a knife for. You really need a knife for it. And it's hard to do with just without a knife. Hard to do without a knife. Hard to do without a knife. Maybe we'll have a nice new layer for that. Maybe we'll have a nice new layer for that. Let your hand wiggle. Let your hand wiggle as you're doing it. Let your hand just jiggle right across the canvas and wiggle that waterline just a little, just a little. Maybe our paints have blending options. Maybe they have blending options. Maybe they have blending options. Maybe that waterline just in the background. Just a faint indication of where it should lie. Okay, so we have our background. Now it's time to make some big decisions. Big decisions. It's time to make some big decisions here. Where are we gonna go? Where are we gonna go? Oh, I need my trusty picture for this stream. Maybe the paint has a Gaussian blur. Maybe it does. Maybe it does. Now, what are we gonna do in our world? I think maybe our world. Oh boy. Oh boy, we're gonna take some Prussian blue, maybe a little bit of sap green, just least little touch of sap green, some Prussian blue, maybe in our world, maybe, yep, yep. Yep. Right here. Maybe there's a tree right here. Maybe there is a big old tree. And maybe he's got a friend here. Maybe his friend was stepped on a little as a young tree. And maybe he's got a little bend to him. Maybe he's got a little bend to him. Not a future telephone pole like a lot of trees. I like those trees that have character. They've got character. Now, what we want to do with this tree, I want to just tap it. Take your brush, just tap it. Tap the indications. Nice little evergreen tree. Just back and forth. Back and forth. Back and forth. Maybe we need to change our brush before we start tapping the indications of an evergreen tree. Maybe we need to change our brush. Maybe it's too late to change our brush. Oh well. Just tap it. Tap it. Get harder as you come down. Harder as you come down. Harder as you come down. And now a friend. Maybe there's another. I think there's another tree there. I think there's one big old crooked tree right here. There's a big old crooked tree right here. Right here. Saying a telephone pole tree. And keep tapping it. A lot of paint on the brush. A lot of paint on the brush. A lot of paint on the brush. Where do these live? They can't live in the water. They cannot live in the water. Maybe they live. Maybe there's an island. Maybe there's a big old rock here. Big old rock. We take some midnight black, mix it with some Van Dyke brown. Van Dyke brown. And where does the rock live in our world? Where does the rock live? I think the rock lives right here. Right here. That's right where the rock lives. It doesn't look like a rock to me. It looks like a big old strip of land. That's where that land lives, right here. Maybe the land, maybe it comes out to here. Maybe it comes out that way. And maybe the land keeps going. Maybe the land keeps going. And just take that paint, just draw it out. Maybe we'll keep the land. Maybe it comes all the way down here. Maybe that's what happens. It's your world. You can decide. You can decide where you want your land to live. That's what you can do. Where do you want your land to live? Why don't I just fill this in? Just fill that right in. That's where our land is gonna be. Actually, maybe the land comes all the way out here. Maybe it comes all the way out to the sunshine. That's where it comes. Just fill that in. Just fill it right in. This is our world. We can do whatever we want in our world. Don't let anyone else tell you otherwise. We can do whatever we want, whenever we want. So maybe there's some color on this land. Maybe we've got some bright bushes. Maybe those trees, maybe these trees have some color. Maybe they've got some color. Not too much. Not too much. Just a little bit of sap green. We've already seen how powerful that sap green color can be. Think about shapes. Think about shapes. How is this? How are these branches coming out of this tree? How is it working? Think about shapes. Highlighting the tree. Maybe there's a branch. There's a branch right here. Don't get too crazy. Don't get too crazy with the color. Don't get too crazy. And maybe, since that tree is going to be in the background, maybe it's a bit lighter. Not as much color in that tree. Just a bit in the background. Not as much color. Don't get crazy. Don't get crazy. Just the least little touch. Least little touch. This big old tree here, about on the same plane as the tree to the left. Its little friend to the left. So we're going to the same color. Same color. Don't get crazy. I know I'm getting kind of crazy with these paints, but don't get crazy. Maybe these trees, maybe they have some highlights. Maybe they have some highlights. Maybe they've got highlights. Maybe where the sun, just where the sun glints off them. That's super important. You don't get crazy with this. You can give everything highlights. And by the time you're done, your whole painting is a shiny, shiny painting. That's not good. You want to save your highlights, the important things. Where does the light hit your trees? Where's your trees being hit by light? Right here, I think. Yep, right here. Yep. Right at the top. Right at the top. Right at the top. Now maybe at the bottom here, we've got a nice old bush. Big old bush right here. Bit of a darker bush though. Bit of a darker bush. Bit of a darker bush. It's too big of a bush. There's a, yep, there's a bush. think about shape and form when you're putting these bushes in. Shape and form. So here's another bush. Yep. This one comes right across that other bush. Right across. And maybe we got an even brighter bush. That one, maybe that one comes right here. Maybe that one comes right here. Just tap them in. Just tap them in. Tap it right in. And we got a dark old bush in the background. Dark old bush right in the background. Now what we're going to do, I'm going to put some highlights on these bushes. We're going to give them some depth in these bushes. But first we're going to talk to the bottom of the bush first. We're going to talk to the bottom of the bush. We're going to give it some a little bit of character at the bottom. A little bit of character. Just a bit. Just a bit of character. Get some form in that bush. Maybe get some little shadows playing in that bush. And then we're going to talk to the top of the bush. We're going to have some highlights here. I know what you're thinking. I know. You're going to be a mud mixer soon, Bob. Well, maybe you're right. Maybe you are right. Maybe I will. Maybe I will. Well, we're going to have to make some big decisions here pretty soon. Going to have to make some huge decisions. We're gonna have to make some big decisions. I like this. I like it a lot. I'm not liking this so much. Hmm. Hmm. What happens in our world? What happens in our world here? Hmm. Maybe we got... Whew. Now here's your bravery test. Here is your bravery test. Maybe we have... I'm gonna take some of that Van Dyke Brown and a dark midnight black. Maybe right here. Maybe we got a big old tree. Big old tree right here. Big old tree. Nice old tree. Hangs out over the water where the eagle sits. Eagle has to have a place to sit. Eagle has to have a place to look over his domain and sit. And we get the feet. We'll sort out his foots later. Maybe he's got a branch right out here. Got a nice little branch. Your world, you can do whatever you want to do in your world. You want to make a branch, you can make a branch. You can make whatever you want to make. Let me just even out the trunk a bit. Trunk of this big old tree. Even out the trunk. This big old tree. Remember, we don't make accidents. We don't have we don't make mistakes. We just have happy accidents. And where's the light coming on this tree? Where's it? Where's the light playing off this tree? I got the light over here. Let's see. Let's see. Where is the light? There it is. There it is. Just gotta put the indications of some highlights. Indications of some highlights on our big old tree. Tiniest little indications of some highlights. And we gotta do it for the branch as well. Gotta do it for the branch. Now I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking. You really screwed up this time. Well, maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. Yep, maybe you are right. Maybe that's what I did. Just take a clean brush. Just blend that together. Blend it right together. Gonna smooth out this highlight just a bit. Just a bit. We're just gonna blend it right together with the dark part of the tree. Blend it with the dark part of the tree so that it looks like it's round. Looks like it's round. And we'll do the same for this part of the tree. For the big old trunk. Big old tree. Big old trunk. Big old tree. Blend it right together. Right down to his foots. Right down to his foots. Now, we're gonna add a couple branches. Add a few branches. First, we need some little twigs. Maybe just a few little twigs coming off of this tree. Maybe there's some twigs here. They're gonna be mostly covered. Some of them won't be. People think you spent hours putting in these twigs. Really just did it before you put the leaves on. Gonna have twigs, just a few. Maybe there's a branch comes right out here. Maybe that happens, and there's a branch right there. Now, I'm gonna put some leaves on this big old tree here. And we're gonna have maybe some dark leaves first. Put some dark leaves on first, and then we'll put the bright ones on. After we've had the dark ones, we're just gonna tap some indications of some leaves. Just some indications. Where would your leaves lie if you were a tree like this? Maybe there's one that comes right out here. Maybe this one comes right out here, and then there's another one up here. Maybe that one hangs over this island. It comes right across and out again, and maybe there's one that just hangs way down low here. Maybe it hangs way down over this island. Has a place for the deer to sit when it's too hot out and they need some shade. And once you got the indications of those leaves, and the dark, dark leaves, then we can come with some lighter leaves, be a bit whiter. Just tap them in again. How about shape and form? When you're doing this, shape and form are so important. Think about little branches by themselves. Branches. Maybe there's a branch right here. It's right down. And it comes back. Maybe there's another one right here. Maybe there's a big one right in the middle. Coming out. And another one right down low. And a big old branch right up there. And this one right down and across. Don't blend it too much, otherwise you'll become a mud mixer. And we're just going to toss indications of some highlights. A lighter color, just the indications of some highlights. Few little highlights. We have a nice bright tree. We're going to put some shadows in there too, because I think it's a bit too bright. So we're going to Toss some shadows in there. Toss some shadows in there. Now, I think we're gonna clean up this trunk just a bit. Just a tiny little bit. I think all trunks have little knobs and things that happen to them, scars and all sorts of little things. And it just gives you an extra little texture. Tree. We come down. Maybe there's some scars in that trunk. Maybe there's something, some wound the trunk got when it was a little. Little wee tree. Little tiny little tree. It's a really dark, dark thing. And we're just gonna blend it. Blend it right in. And I think I screwed up. But remember, we don't make mistakes. We just have happy accidents. That's what we do. We just have happy accidents. So, at the bottom of this, give me a nice little, yeah, I like that color. Give me a bush. It's a really green bush. That's too much sap green. There's gonna be a bush. Maybe a bush right here. Maybe there's another bush. Maybe there's another bush right here. Another bush right here. Maybe we got some grass. We've got some grass growing. Right here. Think about shape and form. You put your grass in. Think about shape and form. Obviously I'm not, but think about shape and form. You put that grass in there. Maybe we'll change our brush. Put some grass in here. I'm gonna darken that grass a bit. Maybe it's more like moss than grass. Maybe we got some moss here. Maybe we have some moss. We gotta think about what our moss is gonna look like. What is our moss gonna look like? the moss just keeps coming over to here. Maybe that's where the moss comes. Get some darker moss up in here. Darker. Ooh, darker moss. And we've got a big old big old rock that comes right out here. It sits right here. And there might be another one sits right here. Yep. It's right there. It's a good old time. It's rock friend. Sits right there. And here we go. Just blend that rock right in. Blend it right in. Right in. Maybe get a little bit of highlight on that rock. Maybe that rock, maybe it has some highlights. Maybe it's got some highlights. Maybe we want to pull those highlights right into that rock. Right into that rock. Keep pulling them into the rock. Really get that texture in that rock. Just want to get the texture. Once we get the texture, we can work with everything else. We can work on everything else. Yep, that's where the rock is. Right there. That's where a big old rock is. Big old rock. Sitting right there. Blend the colors in. Blend them in. Blend them right into that rock, and then we go back to our rock in the front. Maybe we'll redraw him. Maybe we'll redraw him here. Got a nice rock in the background. And we'll just go ahead and redraw our rock in the front. Go ahead, redraw our rock in the front. right here. There's a couple layers. It's got some more crimson in it. A little bit more crimson. And we just take this, blend them together. Just keep blending them together. So we have a nice little rock. Nice little rock at the front here. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to just tap a bit more of that grass in there. Just tap a tiny bit more of that grass around the rocks. Just a tiny bit more of that grass. Just so we can show where the rocks are. Where the grass is. We want this bush. Maybe we'll want this bush back here to overlap a bit on that rock. There's a bush in front of that. I think there's a bush in front of that. I think we should maybe put some nice little sticks in there. Put some nice little sticks. Just indications of little sticks. Little tiny sticks in the background. Little tiny sticks. And go back. And we'll just cover some of that up. There's a bush. There's a bush right here. Big old bush. Big old bush. Right there. And the big old bush has some big old shadows in it too. Big old shadows. And it's got some big old highlights on it too. Got some nice little highlights just to give it some shape and some form. Maybe that one's got some highlights too. Maybe that one's got some highlights too. Okay. So we're gonna go back here. I'm gonna put some more grass right to the edge. Right to the edge. Just to the edge. No farther. Just tap it in. Tap it in. About shape and form. About shape and form. And you're tapping that grass in. Shape and form. And we're gonna do a little bit brighter. A little bit brighter. Just indications. some little bushes. Just a few little bushes. Not much. Just a few. Maybe there's a bush there. One right there. Maybe there's a bit of a yellow bush. Maybe that one. Maybe it carries off into the distance. Maybe that's where that bush goes. And his cousin. Right in here. He's got a cousin right in here. Cousin bush. Just a little bit of a cousin bush. And they got a nice little red bush in here. And another little red bush over here. And finally, just one more little red bush. Right here, I think. Here is where the red bush is. And gonna have to some shadows on that bush. And some highlights as well. Just to make it seem like it's got some depth. Like it's got some depth to it. Okay. So now, just a few finishing touches. We take our titanium white. Maybe in our world. There's just a bit of a water line here. And we're going to take our nice dry brush after we beat the devil out of it. We're just gonna smooth it over. Smooth it over. Smooth it over. Maybe we didn't have a water line there. Maybe that never happened. Maybe that never happened. One last thing, maybe in maybe in our world, up in the sky, maybe in our world, maybe there's a TIE fighter. Maybe there's a TIE fighter in our world. Maybe there's a TIE fighter in our world. Maybe he's just out for a stroll. Out for a stroll in his little TIE fighter. Maybe I have to remember what a TIE fighter looks like. And maybe it's got a nice little cockpit. Nice little cockpit. Bit darker. We're gonna take some of the midnight black. Nice midnight black. Just gonna the least little bit of Van Dyke brown. Least little bit. Van Dyke brown. Maybe it's a bit lighter than that. He's pretty far in the distance. He's pretty far in the distance. Pretty far in the distance. Just have the indication of a cockpit. Indication. Nice little cockpit for the TIE fighter. Pretty far away. It's pretty far away. But we want some highlights. That's what we want on our TIE fighter. We want some highlights. Need some few highlights. Maybe that's where our highlights are. Maybe that's where they are. Right there. That's it. Right there and on the inside of the wing. The sun is shining that way. The sun is shining that way. We're just gonna some darkness on the opposite sides to balance out the light. Just like the Force. Just like the Force. Gonna put some highlights in here. Some highlights in here. We're just gonna blend them in. Blending them in. Just blending them in. Maybe we'll just make this a bit darker. A bit darker, that middle piece. And the outside, just a bit darker. Just to let people know there's an indication. A nice little TIE fighter up in the sky. Up in the sky. Beautiful little TIE fighter minding his own business up in the sky. Just minding his own business. Just not doing anything to hurt anybody. Having a good day in the sky. maybe he's got a nice little jet stream. A good little jet stream where he's been flying. Good little jet stream. Good little jet stream. And we're just going to take it, blend it up. Blend it up. Just up like that. Blend it out. And I think that's just about a finished painting. I think you'll find it's not a warp drive. I think they're ion engines on the TIE fighters. I believe they have twin ion engines. I mean, they may have. They don't even have hyperdrives on the TIE fighters. That shows how much the Empire cares for their happy little soldiers. I don't like this blue area. I'm just gonna pull that down. Pull that down. I don't like all this sap green back here either. Oh. Put something here. Indication. Little stone shoreline. Indication. Tiny little stone shoreline. Balance out the sap green. Just to balance out all that sap green in the background. Just to balance it all out. Well, I think we just about have a finished painting here. I'm going to take some paint thinner and some red. And I'm going to take a brush. And I think I'm just going to sign this. So from all of us here, thanks for joining us today. And God bless.